What's up YouTube, saiyan here to give you my review of Dragon Ball Minus. Now, I guess I can just give a little backstory or a little premise on what Dragon Ball Minus is. Dragon Ball Minus is a special chapter that was included with the release of the Jaco the Galactic Patrolman. I think it's a volume release if I'm not mistaken, instead of like a full-fledged manga release. I might be wrong about that. I forget how many volumes. I think it's one or two, but it's a special chapter that's added with Jaco the Galactic Patrolman that is, I guess, the most famous for highlighting Goku's mother. I think that's really the selling point behind this chapter. Like that is the most interesting part about it. Okay. Okay. So many conflicting emotions right now, but when you guys read this, it is important that you treat this as something that is distinct from the Bardock special. If you guys haven't watched some of my previous Bardock videos, like my Bardock character analysis, or the differences between the English and the Japanese versions of the Bardock special, if you haven't watched those two videos specifically, or you guys just haven't watched my streams in general, then you guys won't know what I'm talking about, so I'll just reiterate it here. The character of Bardock and his TV special are actually not created by Toriyama. Toriyama never created those two things. Both of them were actually solely Toei Animation creations. Katsuyoshi Nakasuru, who is most famous for doing his character designs in Dragon Ball GT, and is actually very famous for imitating Toriyama's style. I think he works at a Square Enix on Dragon Quest also right now with Toriyama, if I'm not mistaken. But he's actually the one that designed Bardock's character, and the concept art for Bardock was a little more. His armor was a little more in tune with, say, someone like Nappa's and Raditz's than what he actually had in the special. But that's besides the point. The point is that Toriyama never wrote the Bardock special, and he didn't create the character. So at Dragon Ball Minus, what he's doing now is that he's taking a non-canon. Well, actually, no, he is canon. Excuse me, because Bardock actually does appear in the manga. What happened was that Toriyama was so impressed with the TV special that he included Bardock in the manga for only two panels. But just making that special on the character and the events that surround him, he made that actually canon before Goku fought Frieza. But over here, he's taking a Toei creation, a character that was created by Toei, and giving his take on his backstory. And because of that, we actually get two different variations of Bardock's character, and I think that's going to prompt me to redo my Bardock character analysis, and I guess my Piccolo one at that too, because I'd like for everything to, sort of be consistent. But it's important that, I think it's really important that when people go to the special, they realize that Toriyama did not write the original TV special. That was all Toei. And all Toriyama is doing here right now is giving Bardock a little more Toriyama's giving Bardock his own version of his backstory. Now, the big question here is this canon or not? I don't know how to answer that. I really don't know how to answer that. I think as of right now, if you were to ask me, like, which one is canon, Dragon Ball Minus or the Bardock special, what I would tell you is that pick your own version and go with that. That's really all I can do, because the TV special was made canon in the manga thanks to Bardock's inclusion, and then here Toriyama's writing something completely different from the special, but nothing that really contradicts Bardock in the as far as from a manga standpoint, and it never really contradicts his character or anything like that. So from a canonicity standpoint, you just have to go with what you like. For me, I'm just gonna say right now, I like the special more. I like the TV special more. It's not that there were certain things that I liked and I didn't like about this. I'll talk about it. But for me, it's the TV special. I definitely like the subbed TV special. Like I said, the only way to watch Bardock subbed, or the only way to watch that TV special, is in Japanese. Don't watch the English version. I've been critical of the English dub before, but this is probably the worst work that Funimation has done on Dragon Ball Z, their dub for the Bardock TV special. Even though I do prefer Sonny Straight's voice over Masaka Nozawa's voice, because I think he did an excellent job voicing the character. And you know, I like Masako Nozawa too. I just prefer Sunny Straight, as that sort of you know, the fuck, what happened to this? 1 second, I just gotta fix this. I just prefer Sunny Straight as that you know, that more masculine, gritty sounding, and I think that voice suits Bardock better than Masako Nozawa's take on it. So yeah, I mean that's just me, but I would highly implore you guys to torrent the Bardock special, of course in subbed, and watch that to really get a feel for like what actually happened between Bardock, the Saiyans, and Frieza. What else would I want to say? Oh, and the character relationships are pretty important too, also in Japanese. I think it's much different than how we see them in English. I don't think I have anything else to say besides get on with the review. Okay, yeah, so I'll just get on with the review now. Okay, so like I said before, this is Toriyama taking a Toei creation and giving it his own backstory. So in this version of Bardock's backstory, so to speak, Bardock doesn't have Tora, he doesn't have Selipa, and if you guys don't know who Selipa is she's called Fasha in the English dub. And he doesn't have the other two, Porgasa and Shugeisha, I think their name is, in the dub, if I'm not mistaken. But those 4 teammates that were on Bardock's team in the TV special are not here in this manga chapter. So because of that, Bardock has no headband, and Toriyama also gave him a different set of armor. He doesn't have like the shin guards, or the shin plates, so to speak, that are shooting out, like he did in the TV special. And one nuance that I noticed with Bardock in this manga chapter is that he's not wearing a scouter, which I found very interesting, and I'll talk about that later. But basically, we actually see Frieza form a plan to kill off all the Saiyans. Now, so here's his plan. He's going to collect all the Saiyans in one place so that he can exterminate them all, right? And you know, it takes a month's time to do that. Now, this is different from the TV special, where he was noticing the increasing strength of the Saiyans as they, you know, start to grow in strength and stuff like that. But the plan to kill them in the TV special, Frieza just thought of it like on the spot, right? So that gave Frieza a little more of a capricious side. It just gave him that sort of, oh, like, this is what I feel like doing right now. So I'm gonna be ruthless. I'm gonna be extreme. I'm gonna take care of it like right now, right? And you know, Frieza deals with it rather quickly. Just does it with one. I think it's called Supernova in the dub. I think that's what the attack is called. He uses, you know, he uses his little attack that kills Bardock and the rest of Planet Vegeta. But over here in the special, or not in the special, in the manga chapter, we actually see Frieza be a little more planning, a little more manipulative, a little more intelligent and cunning, in the sense that he gets them all together in one place and then tries to destroy them all over the course of a month. So we see a little more like more of a planner side to Frieza than we have seen before in the series. And you know, yeah, so we didn't really get to see too much of that previously, but also Bardock is also shown to be a little more intelligent, as he suspects Frieza's plan from the get-go. He's going like, what is Frieza doing collecting all the Saiyans in one place? So it seems that, unlike how Bardock treated Frieza in the Bardock special, where Bardock, you know, was very highly respectful of Frieza, and you know, called him Frieza-sama, Frieza-san, all that stuff. Over here, he seems to be a little distrusting of him. So that's really my thing about this whole Dragon Ball Minus chapter, in the sense that Bardock's character is a lot different. And Bardock is teamed up with this Saiyan, right? Now, before I actually talk about that particular Saiyan that's with them in the ship and stuff, I just want to comment like on the aliens that Toriyama drew. I actually like the alien designs. One of my favorite parts about Dragon Ball has always been like the character designs, and I felt like the aliens, they're just like, I don't know, I like the way they look, especially that one dinosaur one, when we see Vegeta and Raditz as kids, and they're just like eating stuff and something, and they were like killing off the aliens. Those dinosaur ones looked cool, and the guns also, the ones that Bardock and that Saiyan were fighting. I don't know, I just like that stuff, but Yeah, totally random. But also like Bardock, we see that the Saiyan that's with them also seems to be not very respectful of Frieza. Because he says that damn Frieza, right? Every Saiyan has always been respectful of Frieza in the TV special, but it seems like Toriyama's doing a 180 here and writing it differently, having the Saiyans hate him from the get-go. Which I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I always thought about with the TV special, one of the parts that I liked about it was because the Saiyans respected Frieza and because he killed them, that made Frieza that much more of a better villain. Over here, it seems like he's sort of like forcing them under his heel, and the Saiyans are just not fighting back. I mean, of course they can't do anything, but still at the same time, I think I like that TV special part of how Frieza's relationship with the Saiyans is, in the sense that the Saiyans respect him, but Frieza kills him anyway. I think that just makes Frieza more of a villainous character than what's going on over here. So yeah, that's that. But what I was talking about earlier with the scouter, Bardock tells his teammate to take off the scouter. And I guess this is just some nuance, because Toriyama is known for giving like his characters like idiosyncrasies and shticks and nuances and stuff like that. It seems like Toriyama's version of Bardock really doesn't like scouters, because he just tells them to take it off because they can hear like what they're saying and stuff. So yeah, that's just one character trait that I picked up with respect to Toriyama's version of Bardock. Then Frieza starts asking about Super Saiyan God, about the legend and stuff. You'd think Frieza would stress this over a regular Super Saiyan in the manga. I mean, Frieza's taking note of one of the legends surrounding the Saiyans, but I'd rather this Super Saiyan God legend be more secretive, sort of like the Taka Shrine in Naruto, where like not everybody knew about that, like only the Uchiha clan knew about that, and in the same sense, I feel like only the Saiyans should know about Super Saiyan God. I mean, this I guess in a sense definitively makes Battle of Gods canon, right? Not that it already wasn't, but this definitely makes it definitively canon. But why is he talking about Super Saiyan God then? You can make the argument that the Super Saiyan God is so great that it won't appear. It's too rare, right? But then I feel like if that's the case, he should be talking about that in the manga on Namek, like when he's always with like Vegeta or with Goku when he's fighting them, he should have always been like Super Saiyan God this, Super Saiyan God that. Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'm exactly the biggest fan of Frieza talking about Super Saiyan God the way that he was, at least in this manga special. I mean, granted, it was only one line. He was like Super Saiyan God, and that too, it's only a mention. But I feel like Frieza should be more fearful of that than just a regular Super Saiyan. And then, Frieza then makes his plan to kill off the Saiyans. And then we also get a nice throwback to the meteor thing that Frieza said. Because when Raditz first came in Dragon Ball Z and he was like, a big meteor came and destroyed our planet. Now we know where that came from. It's because of Frieza, right? And then we see Chibi, Vegeta, and Raditz with those cool-looking aliens, in my opinion. And even though the aliens look cool, Chibi, Vegeta, and Raditz themselves look a little weird. I always found it weird. I think it's kind of funny that a prince like Vegeta is with Raditz, right? Because Bardock's a low-class soldier. At least that's what that's what we were believed to. That's what we were led to believe, at least, even with this Dragon Ball Minus chapter, but. It's still kind of funny that a high-ranking Saiyan and a low-ranking Saiyan are working together. Might be just reason of the circumstance and stuff like that, but they still looked weird nonetheless. And then we also get some information about the Saiyan race in general, in the sense that there are several thousand Saiyans, but they can't produce easily. And again, see, this is something I also have a problem with, because this just makes the Super Saiyan God ritual all the more suspect, for better lack of term. If they can't reproduce easily, and one Super Saiyan was supposed to appear 1,000 years ago, then how is the Super Saiyan God ritual even supposed to exist? How can there be 6 Super Saiyans who are pure-hearted, and then they make the Super Saiyan God? Like, that just makes no sense to me. as like especially now with like what we just got in this Dragon Ball Minus chapter. So very weird. Just puts more damper on that Super Saiyan God ritual. Once again we see changes in Bardock's character. For, at least if you guys have watched the Japanese version of the TV special, in the sense that Bardock actually is asking about Raditz. And he also wants, and we see Goku as a kid when he's 3 years old and stuff. He also wants to send Goku to another planet because he doesn't trust Frieza. Character's a complete 180 from the special, because in this TV special he trusts Frieza and doesn't care for his kids. But in this manga chapter, he doesn't trust Frieza and he cares for his kids. It's a complete 180. And we also see Gine, and this is also like one of my gripes about this. Gine was probably the one character most people were hyped about, right? She's very plain, actually. I mean, she's nice, but that's plain. That's not very. She doesn't stand out, so to speak. Like I have no inkling to sort of like. It's not that I don't care about Gine. I mean, she's Goku's mom. I mean, of course I care a little bit, but there's nothing special that stands out about her. You know what I mean? And she actually picks up on Bardock's character when she actually says, it seems it's not like you to be worried about your kid. She actually says that when Bardock is getting ready to send Goku off to another planet and stuff, to Earth. But at least as far as how Bardock's character has been portrayed in this manga chapter, Toriyama's Bardock doesn't seem that way. Like what Gine just said, it seems like the way Toriyama portrayed Bardock, it's just completely opposite of that. So then we see that Goku has actually spent 3 years all this time in like a chamber, in a pod, right? And there's actually a retcon over here, because as we all know, in chapter 194, when we actually see like Goku and when he emerged like from the Saiyan space pod and stuff like that, we actually see Goku as a baby and naked in chapter 194. But the retcon here is that now he's 3 years old and he has clothes on. And we get a nice panel of him like just looking like through the freaking like the window pane of the Saiyan space pod, looking at Bardock and Gine. And he's like, oh no, like no, and yeah, it's a good panel. I think it's certainly. I think with Goku's character, what that does, it gives him a sense of. I think you feel for Goku's character because of that a little bit, but at the same time, it's so much like Superman. Now it's so much like Superman, yo. I mean, actually, it might be a little different in the sense that Goku actually has a conscience. He's like 3 years old. He can sort of like understand like what's going on in the world around him, but it's just like, the parents sending him off and stuff, like, come on. And like I said before, Gine's character is kind of bland. All we know is that she's soft, and I'd actually have preferred it if Gine was like a typical Saiyan compared to the Gine that we got in this chapter. I would have preferred if she was like a typical Saiyan, someone like Salipa or Fasha, as you guys probably mostly call her. In all, I think I just prefer the Bardock special. It's much more connecting. And, of course, I mean the sub version of the Bardock special, because that is the superior version, whether you guys like it or not. But I definitely do prefer the TV special. I love the fact that Bardock was just this mass murderer who failed. And I think that was just, like, that was the good part about his character. He was this mass murderer who had some sort of connection with his teammates, and because of that, the audience sort of, like, felt for his character as he tragically and in vain tried to save his people, right? Even when they, were shitting on him and stuff. But that to me was a more compelling story than what we got over here. This one seemed a little just too lighthearted, I felt. A little too much. One other thing that I want to talk about is, the whole thing about Jocko and the Galactic Patrolman. I actually like Jocko's character. I sort of like his whole quirkiness. And, Toriyama's always been known for, like, making, like, these quirky characters and stuff. But I actually liked Jocko's character and how he was just like, oh, there are humans there? Oh, I'm just going to judge it for myself. And if they piss me off, I'm gonna kill all of them. Something like that is, that's funny. But another character that I liked was the king, because the king was like, yo, go check on the humans, because the Saiyan's about to go there, and they're relatively weak, right? And they're not as evolved. And you get the sense like the king is like this magnanimous person, and then he's just like, nah, I just ended there because I felt like it. So it sort of gives him like this sort of like a sort of selfish character, in the sense that he's like this capricious character who just does things because he wants to. And that's, that's funny. So it was really that Jaco the Galactic Patrolman page within this Dragon Ball Minus chapter, when Jaco was, chasing Goku in the space pod. That was what was really funny, and that to me was probably my favorite part of the entire special, actually. So, again, I prefer the Bardock special, of course, in subbed, and I think one important thing that I talked about in this review was Bardock's complete 180 change as a character. One thing that I am happy though is that Gine is not the reason for Goku's purity when he's a kid. Because Goku's character, I think, is really special in the sense that he's a victim of brain damage, and the sense that he was sent to Earth to pretty much, well, now he's not sent to Earth to kill off to kill off the planet. Again, that's sort of like a plot hole considering what Raditz said in the Saiyan saga, but now we're getting this sort of, now it seems like Goku is not sent there to kill off all of humanity and conquer the planet, but Goku's character has always been special in the sense that he is a victim of brain damage, and that's why he's pure, because he bonked his head on a rock in a valley, and that's why he's good-hearted. That gives his character mystique. That gives his character a sense of uniqueness, so to speak. And I'm really glad that Gine was not the reason for Goku's purity. Now I'm really glad Goku's not. I'm glad that he's not kind-hearted because of his mom, basically. So that's pretty much my review for Dragon Ball Minus chapter. I would just recommend treat it differently from the TV special. I personally prefer the subbed special, and there were some good qualities about this in the sense that, it was Toriyama's own version of Bardock and all this and that, but I definitely do prefer the sub Bardock special. I really do. So that's for me, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.